We go. So, Jon Lindsay is my special guest today. We're listening to his new album, Labor. He worked on it. He just told me for 4 years. You can hear it. You can hear the love that you've put into it, John, and the musicians that you play with. And I want to give you an opportunity to mention them if you like. I don't want to forget. So, right here at the beginning, I wanted to thank Arwen Lewis. Arwen introduced me to John and Benji and invited me and even bought me a ticket to the show up north at Lost Chord Guitar, an evening extreme with Benji Hughes and Jon Lindsay. It was a really exceptionally, I don't know, beautiful night for music to be out. And just wanted to thank Arwen Lewis. And you should also check out the Arwen Lewis show if you like interviews and with music artists, really in-depth interviews with music artists and showcasing their music. The Arwen Lewis show is a great show to check out.
Arwen is
And a
an
lot,
angel of a human being. I just want
she
to.
is an angel. She is an angel. um, Lost Chord Guitars, Arwen is actually, I believe she is now booking all the music acts at the Lost Chord Guitars up in Solvang in California. So reach out to Arwen, say hello. And this is one of my, I love, here's where you're such a genius in storytelling, John. You have such a way with it. Play on words, kind of a little bit of your sense of humor is in there. But this song that we're listening to right now is called My Other Car. And I just love the lyrics in this song and how you go from my other car is a car. And I don't want to butcher it all, but then the baby on board reference and all the things uh, that we like the bumper stickers that you get stuck behind. They all kind of make a cameo in this song, and it's really clever, a lot of fun, and one of my favorites on the album. I've said that a couple times now. I've got a lot of favorites.
I feel like if I we talked so much about Jeff, like if I could get a video for that song to be like exactly how I want it, it would have Jeff Bridges in it. And he
Yeah,
would
I
be
could see
like
that.
he'd be the protagonist and yeah, it would be him in there. Yeah, man. I mean, it's look, it's like it's the silly song on the record that kind of to that thing we talked about earlier. I feel like it invites you to a zone that is it's like it's kind of like what I love about Harry Nilsson, right? If you listen to a Harry Nilsson record, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're going to maybe even be a little spooked out, a little scared. I think that's kind of what this album aspires to, is to kind of hit some feeling zones like that. This is definitely the fun, kind of moment of the album. And yeah, I never once for a second like winced at like, does this go on here? Like, is this okay? Like, is this gonna fly? It is what it is, right? It's
It-
this is a little kind
but
of like zany, but it's fun. I feel like it works. I don't know. You tell
yeah,
me.
it's catchy though too. So it's like if you didn't hear the lyrics, the music's catchy. You're going to find yourself humming it and singing it, and then when you kind of start to, it seeps in. The play on words and the fun of the song. We all need a lot more fun in life, right? We need, and like you said at the beginning, we need if you reach somebody in any way, that's a win for sure. So
Like we talked about Jackson, right? Like I feel like well, I guess this is Jackson adjacent to Eagles, but like lighten up while you still can, you know? I mean, I find
yeah,
myself I come back to that line often, and I think a song like My Other Car exists in the spirit of that, right? Like why not? Like it's fun, it's a little funny. But also, there is some, I would go to bat for that. There is some tenderness and it's some sincerity in that song. At the same time as it kind of letting itself out to play. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, it also, when an artist such as yourself with that song, when you put something in a collection, in a catalog, in a new album or in an album, and it's a fun song like that, it kind of lightens the mood a little and you're enjoying yourself just for the pleasure of the music and enjoying yourself. I think that to me, I always think that's a smarter, that's a smart or an intelligent artist that it almost elevates to me the art, the overall album, because you're, you're almost, you can make fun of yourself, or you can make fun of, you can have fun with the song, or you can, you know, um, introduce something different. So I really like that song.
Thank you. It's just that disarming thing, right? That I
Yes,
feel like
yes.
I learned from Benji that we talked about, right? That's like just a way to kind of, you put a song like that out there in the sequence of those other songs where there is definitely, I mean, let's be real, like big stage is like devastating. Like, I mean, I won't get like too into it, but like, that song deals with like some of the deepest, darkest sort of personal devastation that I've ever experienced, from a relationship standpoint. And there's a lot of heavy anchor points on the record. I don't think the record is like short on moments of sincerity or depth or darkness. But yeah, I feel like you throw something like that in the mix. Hopefully it accentuates, it lets the low points be low, it lets the high points be high, and it just kind of it just kind of sits in there and it makes the spectrum feel like a spectrum of emotions, hopefully,
Yeah, yeah, it does. Good work.
Thank
It's so
you.
much for me not asking you to dig in and explain your songs. I apologize. Well, we had a brief conversation at Lost Chord before your show a month or so ago, um, and then we've had a little bit of a longer conversation together today, John. And I hope you don't mind this description, but I was thinking about you before you came on and what I knew at that point from the conversations, and I was thinking about how I would describe you, and I think I would describe you as a thinking man's rock star. Like you're thoughtful, you were very gracious to me and everybody, your fans that evening. I watched you work the room. You're kind, you're very funny. You're a born storyteller, a natural storyteller. And so I kind of thought, like, you're a self-taught human. And how did you acquire those traits? Many, many years, probably a lot of trials and tribulations and ups and downs and tragedies and comedy. But was there a mentor for you? Is there someone that kind of took you along that you admired that taught you some of those things that make up you as a human being, that make up the great Jon
Man.
uh, Lindsay?
Well, first of all, that's very deep that you said any of that. Thank you that is your sense of me. Um, I'll tell you some things. Like I come out of a weird corner of the world, right? Like I was the black sheep of my family. I'm very close with my mom and dad. I mentioned earlier in the show they live down the street. They're still fortunately living. They're Nana and Bubba to my little son.
Mhm.
But I was raised in the Episcopal Church, which is just not a non-evangelical. It's not like over the top or whatever. But my grandfather, my dad, and my twin brother, who's a fraternal twin, are all Episcopalian reverends, right? So that's a thing. That's crazy, right? And I just kind of like always had a couple of dynamics going. As I understand the answer to your question, this is as best as I can do it for you. Having a twin brother, fraternal or identical or whatever, but that's my only sibling is a twin, right? So I had this like deeply seated need to like establish my own charisma, my own identity, my own shtick, like my own thing, right? That definitely informed my crazy work ethic, my crazy individual, crazy rugged individualism, my crazy like just restless drive and all that kind of stuff. Having also sort of being the black sheep in a loving, very close, I had like the best childhood, an amazing childhood. I just didn't get down on the whole religion thing. It wasn't for me, but I didn't have any trauma or there was no buck wild kind of stuff like that. But being the one on the outside who was just like I always knew like that wasn't I was never gonna go down that path that my brother did. It was just kind of not my bag, and I was always like, good for you guys. I love you guys. But having that like sort of otherness experience where I was kind of the odd man out, I really think I could name check a bunch of people like inspirational guidance figures and mentors and the Benjis and the Caitlin Carys in my life and all those kind of people. There have been many that have taught me so much about entertainment and just the showmanship and storytelling and folks from my writing life from the School of the Artists of Chicago, Jim McManus and Carol Anshaw, authors and folks that I've studied with who've been a huge inspiration on me. I think the biggest thing that makes me this weirdo that I am probably has to do with just being this like suburban latchkey kid from Charlotte, North Carolina, that had to be his own guy against a twin and against like a family that had a very set kind of trajectory of like what I was supposed to do. I got in a lot of trouble and I just had to figure a lot of things out for myself. And I had to kind of be this huckster and this kind of kind of shucking and jiving kind of guy, just to make it through like middle school and high school and just kind of be my own guy. I think a lot of that stuff that you're talking about goes that deep. It goes back to just like my family and kind of where I come from. But yeah, I could also dish forever about like those types of uh, inspirational figures that you're talking about as well. But yeah.
It's a good answer. It's a good answer, and I appreciate you answering it for me. I know it was a little deep, but I feel like you're a deep guy, and that's I think I consider myself a fan, so that's what your fans I think connect with about you is it genuine and deep and all the things that makes a person want to be around another person or be interested in a person. You've got these great qualities. As a writer, what are there subjects that are intriguing you right now? Like what's on your mind? Are you writing right now, or have you set that aside, the pen aside
No,
for the
yeah,
moment while you
I am. This is deep too, man. I'll just put this out there. Like my wife and I talk about she's like the coolest person in the world. I'm actually writing a record right now that deals with my very short um first marriage that was like very brief and um dynamic and just all the things. So like it's weird because movies and music kind of have this thing in common where the stuff happens and then the picture or the album it's like 3 years later, it's 5 years later, so there's a long tail. As a film guy, these things are slow, they're laborious, it's a heavy lift. So I'm actually writing the divorce record right now about my brief first marriage, very short first marriage. Couldn't be happier in my life now. I mean, like as we've talked about, so happily married and a dad and all this stuff. But I'd never really dealt with that stuff the way that I do, which is, I
Mhm.
write songs. And now is kind of it's odd because I'm in such a place of bliss in my life. I really could not be a happier. I mean that like I have no reason to bullshit you. I could not be a happier guy in my life. But what is making the gears turn right now, and I'm really stoked. Like I've written the whole sequence almost. I'm kind of one or two away from feeling like that's the record, and I'm about to go record it. Is these songs that deal with that, right? Which was like this period of my life from like 30 says married from like 36 to like 39. Very brief, very short thing. And my ex and I like moved to New York City, and we were kind of there to chase our fortune, and just kind of like had a completely different experience with like New York life, and it really kind of jived with me. And she was like, kind of like, get me out of here. And just ultimately kind of took us out or whatever for the best. But I'm kind of just dealing with that whole relationship now and writing about it. That's what is the sort of the anchor point thematically of this next record. And it's just like coming out of me, and I'm going with it, and I'm feeling great about it. And it's odd to be in a period of such bliss and then now getting
Well,
back into that, you know?
that sounds very healthy. It sounds like a smart choice to get that out, to like really face it because
Yeah.
because it could seep back in and crumble your happiness now, the stability that you have and that you love it. That's very, I think, very smart, very, very deep. Let's keep using this, sharing the same word.
You
All
have to
right.
pay the piper, right? You gotta pay
Yeah,
the
yeah.
piper, and like that stuff had to be dealt with, and it was just about when. And it was not like this time that we're in now, and big stage and all this stuff is just like such a different thing. And now that kind of like all that is happening and handled, that's where my writing process is revisiting this thing. And I feel safe to do it, and I feel secure enough to kind of get into it. So yeah, that's what's coming. It's kind of a spicy, it's a spicy next record, man. I can't wait to share it with you. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna play, if you don't mind, we're gonna enjoy this one that you've got right now a little longer, big stage before that comes, but I'll look forward to that. And we got to take a break, but just quick, first thing that comes to mind, best day of your life, and was there music playing that you
Hands
can
down, I mean,
recall?
it's cliche, right? But like hands down, it was the birth of my son, who's 18 months old right now. And yeah, there was music playing, and the playlist was very, I can't tell you like exactly the moment that he came out, what song was happening, but you probably know by now, like I'm a big sucker for like all the Laurel Canyon stuff and all the stuff that feels like that. So the whole playlist was like, lots of Steve Winwood and Jackson and George Harrison, and just like all the Joni, all the Asylum 70s, stuff,
Yeah.
and Laurel Canyon stuff. So that was Fleetwood and all that. That was what was going on when he came in and joined us, joined the party. So yeah, definitely hands down best day of my life, most surreal, like, I don't know if you're a parent, but that just octopus emoji, head explode, kind of, nothing compares, man. Nothing compares. Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty good day. We're gonna listen to Stems going out to break right now by Jon Lindsay on his new album, Big Stage. John, do you want to set this up or
It's the
anything
last
right
song on
in?
the record. It's a short little record closer. Um, yeah, I hope you dig it. It's got kind of I'll say this, we talked a lot about Benji. Benji has a song called So Much Better on A Love Extreme. Fantastic song. And I think Benji stole a Phil Spector drum fill that he put into So Much Better. And it's just this like this bup, 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 bup. And it's kind of total, and it's like slap back on the drums. This is a total like Phil Spector thing. I always loved that he did that. And so like when the drums drop out of nowhere because it's like this like sparse piano ballad, and then the end of the song is just like this like oh crap, like all this stuff happens. The drums, that move I stole from Benji, stealing from Phil Spector when the drums come in. So there you go.
All right, enjoy it. Stems off of Big Stage. Jon Lindsay's my guest. We'll be right back.